Hello and namaste. Let's talk about types of boundary. Before going on the topic, first I would like to talk about boundary. Boundary has been described by different researchers. One of the researcher, Halsbury, state that an imaginary line which divides two contiguous states. The same source term boundary as a physical object which is used to divide or due to that it has been division itself, something like that. In sense, it can be divided as a natural or artificial man-made feature. According to the English literature about character surveying, there are two types of boundary: fixed and general boundary. Fixed, where the precise line of the boundary has been agreed and recorded, and the general boundary where the precise line on the ground has not been determined, although usually it is represented by a physical feature and shown graphically on map. It could be a natural, defined by a natural features like river or lake. And the another one is artificial boundary, even mentioned in Halsbury Law of England books, which are generally not visible in the field, but they exist. Before this representation of a legal title or the corner or by the marker, they still exist there. And the fixed boundary poses mathematical position coordinate of every corner and its values, and it's accurate and provide security, and we can relocate this exactly. And general boundary are physical object not accurate. It has been developed or determined on understanding, cannot be relocated accurately. In the eyes of the surveyor, the accuracy with which the corner point have been determined during the character survey is the main factor describing types of boundary, which is fixed boundary, which is general boundary. In differentiation, the regulation that relate to the accuracy requirement of character survey are developed with fixed boundary in mind. Different, like for example, in Australia and New Zealand, fixed boundary in mind, but they can have a fixed as well as general boundary. From lawyer perspective, this boundary can be defined as an imaginary or invisible line dividing one parcel property from another. It is not exact line having no thickness or width, dimensionless, but from the perspective of surveyor, this cannot be boundary cannot be dimensionless because it has location in space, has a physical and practical limits for its location, accuracy, or uncertainty. These boundaries, like fixed, general boundary, or boundary, can be defined or described from different perspective, like lawyer perspective. It's an imaginary or invisible line dividing one or two parcel from one another. It can be an exact line having no thickness or width. However, from the surveyor perspective, it cannot be a dimensionless because it has a location in space, has a physical and practical limit for its location, accuracy, or uncertainty. Next is about demarcation of border boundary of a village, development community, or municipality or ward. In surveying and measuring from that act, the border boundary of this area should be surveyed and demarked initial state to make survey demarked, and such surveys shall then be made first demarked in the paper And if in demarcating the border boundary there arise any dispute as to the border of a zone, district as well as the border boundary shall be demarcated in accordance with the decision of the precised authority or community. If it has a dispute, then we will leave that particular block for certain period of time and we proceed for another survey. Now I would like to talk about international boundary of Nepal with China and India. Agreement on mainstream friendly relation between the People Republic of China and the Kingdom of Nepal in 1956. The Sino-Nepalese Treaty of Peace and Friendship in 1960. There are two agreements. Formally, in those agreements, it has been stated that Nepal formally recognized Tibet as a part of China and confirmed the limit of the country of China and Nepal as they are known today. And we have the border between China and Nepal is around 1400 kilometers in length along the mountain range northwest and southeast direction, separating the south of Tibetan Autonomous Region of China and the territory of Nepal. This border passes through the highest peak in the world, Mount Everest. India and Nepal international border is an open international running between India and Nepal. It is sometimes called as Indo-Nepal and it's about 1751 kilometer around. Long border includes the Himalayan territory as well as Indo-Gigantic Plain. The current border was delimited after the Sugauli Treaty of 1816 between Nepal and British Raj. Following the Indian independence, the current border was recognized as the border between Nepal and Republic of India. Since there are no fences at the India and Nepal border, it's open. There are several smaller official border crossing known as Choti Bansar, minor custom, Bansar in Nepalese word. The Indian side of the border is regulated by the Sashastra Sima Bal along with the local police, and the Nepalese side of the border is regulated by the Armed Police APF along with the local branch of Nepalese police. Often SSB, India and APF perform joint patrols on the borders. On local level, Indian and Nepalese district officials meet regularly to discuss security challenges and other issues on the respective border person. Such meetings are usually attended by the district magistrate, local SSP representative, custom chief from India, including chief district officer, local APF, police, and custom chief from Nepal. There are existing territorial dispute between India and Nepal over the Kalapani Treaty, 400 square kilometer area at the India and Nepal-China border in the northwest Nepal, and also in Susta, around 140 square kilometer area in the southern part. Boundary making in an international frame, this framework is followed, that there will be a political framework as well as technical framework or professional framework. First allocation, then the preparatory work and treaty delimitation. In a treaty they will be agree on a line or an imaginary line. Then after that, successfully delimiting the treaty, they will demark, and there will be a process of recommendation, coordinate definition, and different process. And after successfully demarcation of the final demarcation, then joint boundary documentation will be released. And in that phase, the frontier administration and boundary line maintenance will be proceed. Thank you very much.